Now, sticking with results, Altron has had a bumper first half. The technology group's interim profit has more than doubled thanks to a strong showing from the company's platform segment due to scale addition. As a result, the half-year dividend has shot up by 60%. Company CEO Werner Kapp joins us with more detail on the numbers. Thank you so much for your time, Werner. A bumper first half, shooting the lights out, all the descriptions that we are getting. But I just quickly want to start off with the bottom line, because we did see some pressure there on a group level and also on a continuing operation level. Is that just a short-term blip where we will definitely get a pickup in the second half of the year?
Nati, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, look, we are exceptionally pleased by this, by this performance. Revenue, because of comparisons to previous periods, was slightly under pressure, but we expect that to normalize over time. I think, if I think about this performance, there's kind of three things that comes to mind to me. I think the first one is, I love it when a plan comes together. We've had really disciplined strategy execution, and that's continuing the profit momentum in our business. Second one is profitability. Really pleasing that our focus on profitable revenue growth, high quality, high margin annuity business has led to this significant improvement in operating profit. And definitely that scaling up effect that you've been talking about. And definitely always pleasing to be able to reward shareholders. And of course, on the back of this, we've also been able to upgrade our targeted medium-term guidance from 1.1 billion rand operating profit to 1.15 billion.
Yeah, indeed, yes. And that's actually what was going to be my next point, because your platform business is really the star of the show here, pun intended, with Netstar there in that division. But just talk to me about that runway for momentum in that platforms business.
Yeah, Zanati, I think we've got significant runway for momentum in those businesses. And I'll take you through a couple of reasons why I think that. I think firstly, you're starting to see the early stages now of really that flywheel effect that we're starting to get in that platform business, where as you get more subscribers onto the platform, as you start to get more external parties onto that platform, partners, you're getting the richness of the data, and it kind of has this flywheel impact. So, I think it's got some runway left to go, which is why we decided to upgrade our guidance.
All right. Well, in your IT services division, what have been your major pressure points there?
So I'm quite happy with how the IT services division has performed from a leading indicator perspective. We integrated 3 of our businesses. We launched Altron Digital Business in March of this year. And that was really aimed at bringing the best of our solutions together in a more cohesive fashion for our customers, so that we're able to differentiate ourselves and grow. I mean, what has been disappointing there is we have had some once-off cost effects in the business, which has knocked our EBITDA. But I think really the execution of that business, the leadership, all the leading indicators are heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and really in there also what's very interesting is that you had ADS that was reclassified from a discontinued operation to a continuing operation. Just shed some light on its position right now and its level of recovery.
So that business has been held for sale for about 2.5 or 3 years. The reason why we made that announcement in July of this year not to sell the business, we just felt it would be detrimental to shareholders. We put a management team in place there about 18 months ago to drive a profit improvement strategy, because I think it's really important to continue to manage a business for value when you're holding that business until the time that you dispose of it. Yeah. And we just felt the gap between the value of the business and between the offerings we got for the business, accepting that would be detrimental to shareholders. So that's why we made that decision. Listen, it's early days in that business, but as you can see in the numbers, I think the leadership team have done a fantastic job under trying circumstances to, have a significant turnaround in profitability. The business is now generating cash. It's got its working capital under control. And I think the big focus in that business going forward is to make sure that we really execute in the market, working very closely with Xerox, who's our key partner in that business, and setting us up for sustainable growth in the future. But it's early days, and I think that process will take some time, but the team's doing a really, really good job.
In your distribution division with Altron Arrow, you do talk about that going into a downward cycle. What stage are we looking at currently, and what's driving it?
So, What's really driving it is that the supply chains are now normalizing post-COVID. Obviously, COVID, fundamentally disrupted the supply chains. Then that whole industry, the whole electronic component distribution industry globally benefited from the rebound of that.
Yeah.
Typically the lead times in that industry is about 12 to 18 months, because remember, the end customer, there are manufacturers buying the components for you to supply their demand into their customers. So I think what you're now seeing is just that demand normalizing in the market. I mean, having said that, we did guide that we expected that to happen, and we've been able to really maintain good operating margins and EBITDA in that business despite that. And despite a decrease in the overall market, we've been able to gain market share in that business.
Okay, all right. Well, and lastly, just as we wrap up the conversation, Werner, what are the strategic focus area that you are going to be concentrating on and zooming in the next 6 to 12 months?
I know I sound a little bit like a stuck record, but we really just want to continue to focus and execute on what we're currently doing. Our strategy is to be the leading platform and IT services company in our chosen markets, and we believe that we can do that by continuing to invest in the right technology solutions that solves our customers' problems and really being customer obsessed, and then leveraging that strength of our platform ecosystem and the group data. And we believe that we continue to do that. We'll be able to deliver the kind of profit growth and the guidance that we've given.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and giving us more detail on those numbers that came out of Altron this morning. That was Altron CEO Werner Kapp.